Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is part 17 of our cooking mechanics series, Let's Get Cooking. And the last time we did our delivery station, we got it so that we could complete our food item, put it in a delivery bag, and like magic it goes off for delivery. In today's episode, we're going to introduce another machine so that we can further our menu rather than just bread and jam and toast. We're going to introduce a drinks machine. This episode is just going to be doing some changes to original data assets and importing the assets for the machine. So without further ado, let's get going. We're going to go to our content drawer, to our meshes, and we're going to put this under appliances. We've already got toaster. We're going to make a new folder and we're going to call it drinks machine or coffee machine, whatever you want, but drinks machine. Now this particular drinks machine is a mesh I made myself on the modeling. It's not the best in the world. There are probably ones you could go out there and buy on various sites like CG Trader, so on and so forth, Sketchfab and all of those. Up to you, or you could do your own, but this will get you going. So let's first of all go to our textures folder and get the textures in. So we find our in the materials folder, our textures folder, right click, we're going to import some textures, and these will be available as always for you to download in the description below. So first of all, although I've accidentally put it in the artwork folder, but there we go. First of all, we want is this coffee machine lab. We're going to open that up. Then we're going to go back into there again. We're going to go to our textures folder, and I believe we want this grey shiny background, norm. We're going to open those two up. I believe that's what we want. Yeah. So those two, we're going to open those. And that's good for that. We're going to go to our materials. Let's get ourselves prepared. We're going to right click our materials. Create a new material. We're going to call this M underscore. I'm going to call it coffee machine, but you call it drinks machine because in this case it is a coffee machine. And when you see the mesh, I'll explain that you could change it slightly however you like. We're going to make another new material, M underscore machine label. Okay, let's make these up very quickly, then we're ready to change them over once we've got our new things. Do our label first, nice and easy. Let's open that up. Go to our textures folder. We can use the normal from the grey shiny background, and we look for our label, coffee machine label here, into our base colour. Apply, save that. That's pretty well all she wrote. Okay, so then the next one we're going to do is we go back to our materials, we find our coffee machine, M coffee machine. Again, this is very simple. To our textures, look for our shiny background and our shiny background norm, and put these in like so. Apply and save it. Now you'll notice with my meshes, I'm not the world's best modeler by any stretch of imagination, but these are for demonstration. You see that the UVs are not 100%, but they're good enough. So let's go to our meshes now. Appliances folder, our drinks machine folder, and let's import the mesh. We go import to current folder, go to our YouTube assets, go to our meshes, our coffee machine. Don't worry about those, we're just going to select the mesh. You don't need to import textures or materials, so make sure that's not there. So import textures is off. Materials. Okay, we don't import the materials, that's fine. Okay, so just make sure your import is on 1. You import uniform offset uniform scale is 1, and import. And here she is in all her glory. So we're going to open her up, and you see there are 3 materials. And like I say, it's not the best meshes. Let's slow that down a little bit. It's not the best of things, but once you've got all the colours on it, it sort of works fine. So let's highlight these. I believe the middle one's a little bit. So let me just double check on the one on my other project. It will save a lot of playing around. And let's just open up the mesh here. It's a bit of a sneezing fit. Right, so let's open up the meshes in my other project. Okay, so the top one should be one that comes with your Unreal, so it's M_clearcoat. I'm using the clear coat black, and that does your plastic bits. The middle one is the M_coffee machine, and that does majority of it, just leave the font part. And then the last one is your M_coffee, no. What did I just name that? Let's have a quick look. And machine label. So I can highlight it. So now we've got our machine label here. Like so. Now, first thing we're going to do is we're going to add some sockets on here. So we're going to go to our socket manager, and as you can see with this mesh, I'm trying to zoom in, but there we go. As you can see with this machine, the label you can make, and you could convert this into, I've got it as a coffee machine with a black and white coffee. You could have it as cola and orangeade, or you could have it as tea and coffee. You could do what you like, or you could make it, extend it, or you have several of them. If you have several of them, we would have to do some changes in the code because the code's only set up to find one. You're better off making a multi-use machine for this code to work easily. But if you want me to add more than one machine, let me know and I can change the code accordingly and do a video on it for you. Okay, so things to note, we're going to need a couple of buttons. We're going to need a place where the cup holder goes, which by the way is not 100% in line, and we need a place for our nozzle to come out, for our coffee in this case, or drink to come out. So let's set up some sockets. So I'm going to go from mine, but I believe I did change the buttons slightly. So there's some offsets to add on them, but that's okay. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to add a new socket, and we're going to call it medium butt. Okay. And for medium butt, I've done this, I'll give you these. I've done this as negative 25, negative 7, and 45. If you press the enter, you see it sort of comes up there. I have changed it slightly in the blueprint because I changed it. We could do it here, but let's leave it here and I'll change it in the blueprint. Then we're going to duplicate this button and we're going to call this large LGE butt. Can get rid of that. Okay, and this one is simply the same dimensions, but it is, instead of negative 7, it is 13. And that shifts it across there. The next one we're going to do is we're going to add another one. We're going to call it drinks socket. And the drink socket is negative 18.3. And this one is negative 0.8. And on the Z, it is 32. Should not be there. Paul, I put it in the rotation instead of the location. Now you see it's come to the bottom of our nozzle. If we do it right, it works. Okay, and the last socket we're going to do, so we can go ahead and duplicate that, doesn't matter. Rename it. And this one is going to be cup socket. This is where we will attach our cup to. Okay, so cup socket is, make sure you get it in location this time, minus 17, 0, oh, let's make it 0, and 7.65. And that's about where your cup is. Again, we can tweak these in the blueprint as and when we're ready. I'm just going to check the collision, make sure the collision is okay. Now, in the simple collision, you see now this is a box around it, which is no good for us because we're not going to be able to get our cup in it. It's just going to collide. So what we need to do is I normally put this up to full. I think I'll put this up to full. And I put this to something like about 20,000. 100,000. Let's say 200,000. Okay, click apply. The bigger the numbers you have here, the more accurate it will be. Okay, I'm not too happy with that because we've still got this bit here. So let's up this to, say 600,000. Right, now you see it's a bit more of a shape. It's good enough for what we need. It's not going to collide in anything. That's good enough. So 6432 600,000. Click apply. Save that. We now have our collisions there. And like I say, it's not a perfect mesh. If you look here, the UVs don't quite line up properly here. I don't know why that label is off like that. Not on my main mesh. Maybe I tweaked the main mesh. Okay, so I will show you how to get rid of that. If you do have that problem, you see the label has got the wrong material on this point. So I'll show you how to quickly get rid of that, and then we can move on. To save that, I'll leave it open for now so you can see that it carries forward. Go to your window, go to where your mesh is. In our case, it's our appliances, drinks machine, coffee machine. Drag it out into the world somewhere where you can get around it. And we've got that problem with that material this side's okay, but the material is wrong on that little triangle on that corner. So in Unreal 5, you go into modeling mode, you go down and you find attribute, and then you edit materials. Okay. The important thing is where you got your active material here, you want to select it to be the one you want. So we want it to be this bust one here. So just drop down here and we're going to say this is our coffee machine. That's our active material. Shrink your bust down to quite small. And I normally use the bust as angle filtered because that allows us to select the quick one. You just want to select that triangle there. Now if you've got your coffee machine selected, you just say assign active material and that gets rid of that. Go back to make sure your current folder is selected there. Click accept, and that gets rid of that. But you see the UVs aren't perfect on this model. It is just a model for the video. Okay, there are much better models out there available. Okay, so we can now just check on our machine here and see it's okay here. You can just go ahead, save that, close that. Say yes to that. Okay. Make sure your materials are saved and applied. And we can go ahead and close that. We can now get rid of that out of the world. We don't need that in the world. Okay, so the next thing is we've got to do is, which I am not the best in the world to do. I will try to export it as an asset, but I'm not sure whether it will work. So in this video, we're going to go ahead and make it anyway. See what happens. So what we need to do now is go to our main folder, go to our FX folder, and we've got our SFX. Don't want that, so we're going to make a new folder. We're going to call this VFX, and I'm just going to open up our VFX. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to right click, make a new material. We could call it M underscore coffee particle. What we're going to be doing now, we're going to be delving into making a Niagara system. So right click, Niagara system, click on all, and we want an empty system. Okay, I think that's one. Yeah, create an empty system, and we're going to call it NS for Niagara system. Highlight NS underscore coffee particle. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open that up, and you see we've got our empty thing here. Okay, so first of all, in our user parameters here, we can go down to our user parameters, this middle tab here, and we're going to add one. We're going to make new, we're going to look for common, and you're going to look for linear color. We're going to call this coffee, COLOR, coffee color, and we're going to give it a default coffee texture or coffee color to start with. So we're going to say 0.4. We will change this dynamically later on, so it's not that important, but this gives you an idea. 0.5 and an alpha of 0.0. Do a little bit of transparency. Save that. So we have a basically empty emitter. So first thing we're going to look down is on our emitter update. We're going to add here, we're going to add, I think it's emitter. No, let's open spawn. Spawn rate. This one here, okay. I don't know where we're getting. Okay. Now, say the following issue is dependent on life cycle, so we can say fix issue, and that automatically gives us the emitter state, which is what I was sort of looking for. This is a bit of a dark art for me, but let's see what we can do. So the life cycle, just leave it as default. The spawn rate, however, I've set to 500. We also need to set our material, so we click on the top one here. I believe we click on here. How do I add the material? Okay, so we're going to go down the list here a little bit more. We're going to go to initialize. So we've done our emitter update. Let's go to particle spawn. We're going to add on there initialize particle, and we're going to add shape location, and the shape location we're going to change that to be cylinder. Let me just give you the correct dimensions. Now I've done this to 1, 0.5 and 0.5. The rest I left as default, so that's fine. Then we're going to add a velocity. You may get an error. If we get an error, just say fix issue. It's intelligent enough to sort it out. Basically, it's where it needs to be in here and what other things it needs to have here. So we're going to go to our velocity. And add velocity linear. We're going to leave that as linear, and the only thing we could change is this to -50 to make it go down. Everything else will leave the same. Make sure you keep saving it as you go along. Initial courses. Okay. Next thing, we're going to go to particle update. We're going to add the collision. You see, it needs to fix the issue, so we're going to fix the issue. Yeah. And in our collision, and just bear with me, it's wait, well dynamic. We want to have a add a state, particle state, and make sure it kills particles when lifetime is there. So of course it's a collision. Move that to there. The collision should be, I'm looking for, okay, so here we're going to, so bounce restitution I've put to 0, we don't want it to bounce. That's what I was looking for. And everything else I've left as pretty well standard, except we want to make sure you click kill on collision. We don't want them bouncing out all over the place or going through the bottom of our machine. And the next thing we do is we're going to add in render, we're going to add a sprite renderer. This allows us to set a sprite material. That's going to be our coffee, which we haven't actually filled out yet, but we're going to do that in a second. Coffee particle, you see it's nothing at the moment. So let's make sure you save that. Let's go ahead and just fill out our coffee particle, which is a very, very, very simple material. Again, people that are better with materials can do better than me. Particle, so you want to look for particle color. Click on the top. We're simply going to do the RGB to the base and the opacity from A to, here in a minute. Okay, we have to set this to be translucent, and the alpha to normal, the alpha to opacity, and that's simply all we have to do. I just believe that it's already trying. Yeah, it's already on using Niagara Spike, which is okay. Apply that, save that. We can go ahead and close our material. Now you see in this little preview window here, we have our stream of particles somewhat working. There you go. Just take a moment to get sorted, okay? And the other thing we need to do is, in our sprite renderer, I believe, or is it in? Okay, so we go to our initialize particle here. And let's just make sure we've got these set up. So lifetime mode, we're going to say to random. We're going to set this to 1.5 to 2.5. Color mode is going to be direct set, but instead of the color being like this, we're going to click down on the here, and we're going to say, we should be able to type in our coffee. Yes, so type in the coffee color because we made our user parameter there. Now you see it's changing color. Anything else? Right size mode. We're going to set that to random uniform, and we're going to set that from 1.2 to 1.8. Mesh 1.8. Unset, that's fine. Simulation position, direct set, okay, random, that's fine. So that should be fine. If I actually zoom out on that, you'll see that you do get somewhat of a screen. Okay, you see somewhat of a stream, it's just taking its time. I don't know why it is in here, but it's a little bit finicky. Okay, we can test this. We can actually just drag the particle out in the world, drag it up in the air, and you see you've got a constant stream of coffee. Okay. Which is doing exactly what we want it to do. So we know that's working fine. That is our particle done. Okay. So we have our meshes. We have our particle done. We have our materials done. All set up, ready to go. So the next part is going to be setting up the blueprints. This is already around 30 minutes. I want to keep these first 2 or 3 short because the main one is going to be quite long once we start doing the coding to get the machine working properly. So I'm going to stop the video here, and immediately I'm going to do another video which will be changing some existing assets and making some new assets. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm just thinking. Actually, no, I'm going to continue because we do need to import some more assets. Okay, so let's go back to our blueprints, back to our materials folder first, our textures folder, and let's import some new textures. I've almost forgot about okay, they should be in here, and I will move them in here, but I've obviously not put them in here. Okay, no, I don't. Oh, maybe I have. No, I don't have them in here. Okay, so I'm going to have to make sure we've got them ready for us, and we will continue this in the next one. Thank you for watching. As always, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Sorry, it's been a little bit strange. I sort of lost my thought a little bit today, but I've been a little bit sick recently, so let's hope the next one will be better. I'm going to carry on and record. See you in the next one. Bye.